Hey, everybody, welcome to another edition of Allied's 10-Minute Talks. I'm Brian Doyle, and with me I've got John Rees and a new face, Kurt Williams, joining us today to talk a little bit about extreme and extreme networking. How you guys doing this morning?
Good, good. How are you?
Very good, no complaints.
Hey, Kurt.
Doing
Good to
good.
have you on, Kurt.
Hey, doing good. It's Friday.
Yes,
That's it.
exactly.
Hey, so today, we asked Kurt to come on the talk a little bit about Extreme networks. Extreme is part of the switching fabric of Avaya, correct, guys? If to keep me honest.
Well, we'll get into a little bit of the
All
background
right.
on
So
that.
anyhow, we're going to talk a little bit about Extreme Networks today, and we're also going to be talking about an upcoming webinar that we have around Extreme Networks. So if you like what you hear in this short 10-minute talk today, it might be worth it coming back and joining us when we have the live webinar. And we'll share more details with you later about that. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to John and Kurt.
Hey, Kurt. So I just wanted to start, Kurt, if you don't mind giving everybody a quick introduction, in your history here with Allied.
All right. So my name is Kurt Williams. I have been with Allied since 2008. I started out just in regular inside/outside sales. And over time, I have become more and more involved on the technical end of stuff. So I do a lot of sales engineering for many of our solutions, from networking to phone systems to cloud phone systems. And all those years, it's really been the hands-on learning and staying on top of what is out there and knowing what will best meet our customers' needs. So we ended up getting into selling extreme networks by way of our partnership with Avaya. And you say, well, how did that happen? Well, Avaya actually purchased switching and phone system IP from Nortel back in 2009. And because we were very big Avaya partners, that made us learn another part of the business. So we got into networking and we started selling networking. And Avaya had that data portfolio for about 8 years or so. So yeah, 8 years or so. And so then in 2017, they sold that networking portfolio to Extreme, which, at that point, Extreme had been established for going on 11 years. It sold, over 1 billion ports of networking. So they were very well established in that networking business. And right around that time, they bought, acquired quite a few other companies. And what's very interesting about what they were able to do is, in addition to buying hardware and networking, they were able to really purchase some best in class management as well, so they could integrate all those different pieces that they purchased. So you're able to use a lot of that old stuff that you had before, whether it's Avaya branded or maybe Brocade or Zebra. But the real thing that, kind of links it all together is the management. And that's one of the things that, customers are very pleased with.
Oh yeah, that we definitely have a little bit of experience with that management, right? We just even with some of the legacy Avaya switches and brought in some of the newer Extreme with the Avaya backbone on there. That management tool is just super slick.
Yep.
If you're at that certain release, you're able to just manage all the switches in your stack across all locations and do full upgrades right from that one management console. It's
Yep.
super nice, much easier than the traditional consoling in, uploading that upgrade file and running the script. Definitely, as the future comes, more and more tools like that definitely bring us ease of use.
Yep. I mean, for customers, it's really all about that single pane of glass. That's what you always hear them talk about. They want to be able to manage everything from one central location. That way you can have less, especially if you have a big campus environment. You're able to manage, a lot of different locations that are spread out geographically from one place. It cuts down on the amount of manpower that you need to do it, to manage it. But what's interesting, right, is that now we're just moving past just being able to centrally manage, okay? Because we don't necessarily want to have somebody looking at a screen all the time. We really want to utilize that person's skills, and their manpower to be able to interact with our customers and really solve problems for the customers. And then things that are just kind of, rote or routine things, we want to be able to have machines take care of those. So Extreme has also made a very big push into machine learning, where it's able to monitor your network and understand how your network is functioning over time and be able to proactively make changes and remediate problems. So really, we believe that that is going to be the next step in where networking is going. So it's going to not just only be software defined, it's going to be AI driven, as we like to say.
That's really cool. I mean, that definitely takes a lot of troubleshooting off these engineers' backs, right?
It does, and it takes away that it takes away when you put that extra space or that extra period in that box when you're configuring something and you can't
Oh yeah.
figure out why isn't this working, and then
Yep.
you realize, well, hey, I had a typo in my script, or I had a typo in what I was programming, and or I was on the wrong interface. So all these things we're able to kind of cut off, and it also brings me to thinking about some of the deployments that we have done. One of the big technologies that Extreme acquired from Avaya was their Avaya Fabric, right? Sounds like something complicated, but all it really is that you're able to configure your devices on each end, where the application lives and where the user is using it. And every hop in between is automated. So that way, if you have a route from A to B, you don't have to physically program that, and it cuts down on the errors that you would make in routing through every successive device to get to the edge. It also allows for you to be able to rapidly pull services from one location to someplace else in the network. And we know that with this pandemic, businesses have had to reconfigure basically everything, because now you have to reconfigure for social distancing. You have to figure out, well, hey, this is going to be a customer area, this is going to be an employee area, and things have had to be moved around, right? So something like this automates a lot of the processes in between and really cuts down on the labor intensity of moving stuff around.
Yeah, and just to touch on that, Kurt, I know we just had a recent Wi-Fi deployment from Extreme, and with that fabric attach, we were able to pretty much work with Extreme Pro Services and have a couple smart hands on site to pretty much just plug in access points, and they automatically get configured with that fabric attach.
Yep, yep. So yeah, and working with Extreme Services is, those guys are, it's their product. They're extremely knowledgeable about it, and they're able to take your goals and basically implement them and allow you to free up your staff to really support the users. I mean, some of these deployments, especially, it's, campus-wide environments. So you can imagine that we were able to deploy an entire Wi-Fi network across a school district, right? During the pandemic, while they were making that move to take everything into online learning, and we were able to free up their IT staff so that they were able to focus on online learning. And basically, we had people on site just plugging in access points that were basically configuring themselves. So it really is a testament to how some of this stuff works and the way it really decreases your workload.
Absolutely. I think we're getting close to our 10
We are
minutes
getting
here.
near the end of our time, but I certainly didn't want to cut off this great information and conversation that was going on here.
Absolutely.
John, Kurt, any closing costs that you each might have, or closing thoughts you might each have?
I have one. Definitely, end of the month we have that webinar coming up, and we'll definitely be touching more on the analytics behind Extreme as well, which is a lot more great tools. Kurt?
Yep. And like John said, that webinar is really a place where you'll get some more information. And if you have questions or just anything that comes to mind, we're always here to answer questions and bounce ideas off of it.
Yeah, and we'll obviously be promoting that webinar on social media. But if you're interested in getting a direct invite to that, feel free to message us here through Facebook or message us wherever you feel easiest, or hitting sales@alliedphone.com in an email and let us know that you want to be part of that webinar.